Hello everybody, this is Sam from Westchester. Glad to be back. I was gone for a week or two. I went up to New Hampshire with my family, and while I was there I actually stopped off in a store and picked up this little beauty here. The store owner did not know the name of this fish, but he did say that he thought it came from China. I told him so did my beach umbrella and everything else that I own in my house. A few days ago, we had a big snowstorm. Dumped about 10 inches here. It was on Friday. Though I did manage to do a lot of shoveling, there's still a lot of snow outside. And we'll just have to live with it. But spring is around the corner, and daylight saving time has begun, which makes me really happy to have an extra hour of daylight. Glad I don't live in Hawaii or Arizona or China, because those people don't recognize daylight savings time. As you may know, Benjamin Franklin wanted to create daylight savings time back in the day. I think it was actually about 1784. Didn't catch on. Franklin was a great man with a great many ideas, but that idea didn't catch on. Daylight savings time did start, I believe, around the beginning of the war, or the Great War, 1916. Speaking of Franklin, incidentally, I just so happen to have a little collection of his coins, his half dollars here, that were minted from 1948 through 1963. And I assume that they would still have been in production, and they're really beautiful coins, by the way. If it wasn't for the tragic assassination of JFK, and his profile replaced the Franklin coins. I have some Kennedy half dollars here. They're rather old and tarnished, and of course you don't see them in circulation very much anymore, but they are very pretty coins. And going on, speaking about coins, I just have a few of them here in front of me and some in my pocket. I look like Silas Marner, I know. Some of the coins are obviously, this is a Peace dollar, and where's a Morgan? This is a Morgan. This one has a date of 1885 on it, and this Peace dollar, yeah, it's 1922. Working backwards, the Peace dollars were minted from 1921 through 1935, with a gap of a couple of years in the 30s. They were produced as, speaking of the Great War, to honor those that fought in the war. They came out, like I said, in 1921. Millions of Morgans were melted in order to produce the Peace dollars. The Morgans ran up to 1904 and were started in the 1870s, late 1870s. And the designer of the Morgan dollar was a man named George Morgan, George H. Morgan, possibly, who was an Englishman. The designer of the Peace dollar, whose name evades me for the moment, was an Italian who used his wife's profile as the model for the silver dollar. And it's interesting. I do know, for example, the Indian head penny that was so popular from around the Civil War through 1908, when it was replaced by the Lincoln penny. The sculptor used, I think, a model of his daughter for that Indian head penny. It does not look like an American Indian at all. And also I remember from reading that the buffalo head nickel, which is also a beautiful coin, the buffalo used for that coin was actually taken from the Bronx Zoo. It's just all these little bits of interesting tidbit. I could tell you a lot of stories about the Bronx Zoo and all the times I used to go there as a kid. And maybe I'll do that in my next production, because I have an interesting story about the history of the Bronx Zoo. Actually, the thing I really do love about these coins is that not only are they beautiful and they have silver in them and they feel like money, is that they were once held by someone else, an older person, someone who lived in the 20s, the 30s, maybe the 40s, until they basically went out of circulation. And we haven't seen these things probably since 1964. And that's why I really like to talk about coins, and I like to hold them in my hand. Well, anyway, I hope I didn't bore you too much about this little story about my love of coins. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon to talk about some of my other interests.